Hi, welcome. On this video, I'm out here with Sadie for service dog training. I'm out here going to hit the street here in a moment. Sadie's here for a 4-month process as a service dog within a helper role. And one thing I noticed with Sadie is, again, she was holding a lot of stress. Okay, this is where people talk about, fear reactive dogs, being reactive on a leash. And again, think about what the leash represents, about control, relationship. So, the reactivity issue is really symptomatic of a relationship problem. Dogs are social animals. So here, advocating through a interaction-based method, it's all about changing Sadie's perceptions the right way. And again, you'll see that this on display through the vehicle exercise is a great example of that. Getting her to go into the vehicle as a follower, more confined spaces. And here, what I'm going to be doing is going to be taking her out onto the street area here a little bit. Not going to be going too far initially. This is the first time I've had her out like this, interacting with her this way, because this is about going into more distracting areas. So starting to do that, but again, being proactive in terms of how her mind is reaching out. It's about how her perceptions, how she's investing. And so what I'm going to be doing is going to be nudging her, giving her a little bit of a nudge to break her of those type of connections. Okay, when I say nudge, it's just be proactive. So therefore, if you're proactive at a deeper level, you're dialed in properly, the dog is going to be more agreeable. Okay, you don't want to wait, because then that's when you're going to have more conflict, and the problem is that becomes an open door for a dog to continue to hold a level of control. So here I'm going to put her in the sit position. I'm just asserting some influence there, doing a little push-pull, and we're going to make our way to the outside. So we're going to go through a little gate area here. I got a brand new 6-foot privacy fence area, which is fantastic. I'm bringing her out here. I'm just taking my time. I'm going to bring her to my driveway area here. And so as I do, this isn't about distance, because here's the thing: it's about her finding comfort the right way. So here, you see that kind of uncertainty on the dog. With a dog that has a reactive issue. Now notice her paw lifting up here a little bit. Now that's interesting, because pay attention, when you see dogs that are holding a level of influence and their mind is pulling in, see that? See your left paw coming up a little bit? When their mind is pulling in, the body follows, which means that you'll see that even their paw, their leg will draw up a little bit. It's interesting because as you do the push-pull method, the leg will come back down. Okay, just like demonstrated here. Okay, back down on the ground. So it's about, again, that's how the mind is responding, okay, by way of control. So the dog starts to, again, have a response to the method, okay. You'll see this kind of duality back and forth here as perceptions start to change. So right here, she's turning around here a little bit, so I'm tapping, going from there. She stands up, put her back into the sit. But understand, it's not about position that way. It's about the interaction part of it. Stands up again. Put her back into the sit again. Keeping her under control here. A little push-pull. And then, again, I'm going to, again, she wants to turn here. She senses something behind her. And I'm asserting enough influence to get her to disconnect from that, okay? So this is about saying, the messaging is, hey, I own everything out here. Whether it's Pete the squirrel, I got lots of squirrels up on my big oak tree here. Whatever it is, giving her comfort the right way. Even in there, here, Milo moving around this crate a little bit. She's going to hear little sounds. And this is where dogs will have a reaction to all sorts of stuff moving, loud, different noises. And the secret here to getting things back or resolved is to be proactive, is for the owner not to focus on those things that way. Okay, it's for you, okay, to be proactive with interrupting all of that. Okay, that's key. So just a matter of advocating. So even here, I hear Milo in there moving around in that crate, I use the remote collar for a second, just on vibration, to help to settle him down. And that gives him comfort, all right? Because again, knowing how to kind of always being invested. So that's being proactive. Okay, because he's saying in there probably, where's Dale? Where did Sadie disappear to? And that's all me doing that, just saying, hey, doesn't matter, you're a follower, relax. Same thing, so I'm just here, I'm stationary, I'm not even moving here yet. You notice here, just tapping a little bit. Because the other thing here too, it makes no sense to move if a dog is having a certain reaction, certain response, then you need to take your time. It's not about distance that way. This is about getting her to start to settle in, taking stress off of her. So the way to see this type of interaction, it's a de-stressing exercise. Okay, this isn't about how far I go. This isn't about me getting my exercise in. I would encourage people, if you're dealing with this type of situation, is that take your time, go slow, just do this in your driveway at first. And if you are into a routine yourself of walking a certain distance, then do this exercise with your dog this way, because this is going to take stress off of your dog. They're going to sleep better anyway because it's taking the stress load off of them. And then you yourself, once your dog goes back in the house, you go and do your 1 mile walk because you're better off, and then it'll come together properly. You know, you'll gain distance the right way with your dog. So because your dog already has it kind of worked out in their mind, making certain connections. So notice here I'm just doing the push-pull, back into the sit, and so I'm not moving. I'm out, I'm out into a more distracting area here, which is going to cause her to have more of a reaction. And I'm just working the script. We're stationary here. See, she's looking at me here. So this is just like finding comfort through the right parenting style. Now, how you can tell when I can start to move a little more is when she starts to settle more into that sit position and stops popping out of it so fast. Okay, so here, again, I'm going to insert. Now, a way to help with that a little bit, that's a lot of popping up, add the down onto it, which I'm going to do here right now. So I'm going to put some down pressure on her, put her into the down, affirm it by doing a little push and pull while she's in the down position. And this will help to kind of stabilize her, start to give her more comfort, taking more stress off of her. So if you have a dog that's like popping out of that sit position like a lot, add some downs on too. Helps to get their mind down. See, she turns around here, I'm tapping. She knows there's a big oak tree right here, and I have on occasion a lot of squirrels going up and down, so she probably senses that. So, but being turned opposite is the right approach. I'm just tapping. So again, just taking my time, nudging her a little bit here. So even when she's in a down position like that, I still nudge just to see that little nudge. See right here, she starts to turn on. I'm just see that little nudge here, just like this. The messaging, just giving her security, say, because I know how her mind is moving. Okay, so just enough of a nudge to give her comfort. There's a car about to go by here. That happens if it causes a response from right here. So as soon as the car goes by, watch this, a little more of a nudge and being proactive, okay, ahead of the noise. So being patient is key here. It's not about, again, not about distance, it's about the method. Okay, this is about giving her comfort and security in a more of a stationary way, and then we'll think about, increasing distance, okay, which will happen, okay, but you're better off, creating this kind of cornerstone, the foundation here first, with a certain level of relaxation, patience, and then start to move. So I'm going to bring her up from the down, just a little bit of influence, enough to, she pops up, I'll put her back into the sit, I'll bring her around here right close to me, keep her close to, and notice here as I'm pushing on her bum, she's locking in here a little bit, not wanting to do it, and there she goes. So just a little push pull. So again, when I come out here like this, again, when I'm dealing with a certain situation, a certain dog, I kind of already know what's going to happen. Okay, I kind of suspect that we're not going to get very far, okay, because it's not about that anyway. This is about relationship and taking stress off of her. Notice here too, I am using the choke chain, and pay attention, because here, for example, when you see the choke chain, I just want to make this point, it'll look tight. Okay, people will look at my videos and they kind of go crazy sometimes. They're like, you know, Dale's choking dogs. Absolutely am not. Okay, there's enough influence through here to give her comfort so that I have control. At first, it has to be a little bit more influence through it to keep it up high in her neck, and I'm right there. Because here's the point. If you take, at first especially, you take too much influence off of here, watch this. Okay, and you create that much slack, right? And it creates too much, and then you go from slack like that to nudging her. It gets jerky, right? And it's going to assert too much influence because you're going from a position of too much slack to try to assert influence, and it's too jerky. Kinetically, it's going to be like a type of disconnect. It's going to create conflict. So kinetically, okay, you want to keep it enough influence through here, just tight enough so that I'm right there. But again, there's release points too. So understand that here, for example, if I tap a little bit like this, just a little bit, okay, I don't have to barely, you know, assert much influence for it to create the desired effect, because it's right where it needs to be. Okay, so it's a very important point, because you see how people are using leashes and stuff. It's important to know kind of where that line is in terms of how much influence to have as a kind of a constant. Okay, especially at first when the dog is already gained a level of control, and then say there's more downwardness too. Say they're trying to put their head, they're trying to get their nose onto the ground. You want to stop that. Okay, now again, as perceptions change, then what happens is, okay, you're going to kind of loosen up the method. And right here, for example, that's a good example. So as she started to invest, I just put enough influence through that to buckle, cause her to buckle, her mind to buckle. And so it's a kinetic principle. Understand there's kinetic principles that are happening here that people probably don't see or aren't aware of unless you have a actual physical, you know, in-person session. See, that makes all the difference in the world. So what you see on the video doesn't really give what you're seeing justice if you're just looking at appearances. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here that you get kind of in tune with as you actually do the method. So, but all to say, she's doing really good. But I tell people, if your dog's doing good, it means that you're doing good. Okay, the focus isn't that way. So right here, see her turn, watch this. Same thing, her paw's coming up right now. I'm applying, see that? And there's that buckle right there. So she come up, put her back in. So that's a great example of that, her mind pulling in. Her paw, her leg comes up as she's asserting, as her mind's reaching. I see really, so right here, she senses, and I know from her reaction that there's something behind us right now. She senses that there's a squirrel, or there's something behind her that she can smell. It's causing her to try to invest more, and that was that moment. And so the key with me is I didn't try to turn around and try to figure anything out. I knew something was going on from her responses. And the secret here is for you to stay focused and do what you need to do, okay, to cause her to disconnect, to come into agreement with influence this way, with these interactions. So that's key. So I'm going to stop it here. She's doing really good. Stress is coming off of her. She's finding comfort the right way because I'm doing everything the same all the time. Okay, the moment I connect with her, okay, immediately I'm starting to engage, assert influence. Interactions are all the same. It's language. So I'm speaking the right language to her consistently, which is what leads to change with her. Her perception's changing. So doing really good. We're working more and more with her here today. Again, this is all about just, it's like circuit training. You know, do a little bit, little bit, little bit. It's just a constant, giving her downtime at the same time, because again, there's some working through this stuff. So you have to, again, accommodate the dog somewhat to work through it as well. So there's all that going on. Same thing. So you turn around there.